There you go.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, we're coming here with another great podcast. Certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to refer the show to your friends, neighbors, relatives. Get them to subscribe at thecvpn.com or ChrisVossPodcastNetwork.com. There is 9 podcasts that are over there. You can check them out, listen to them, and tune out all of the troubles you may have, and you'll learn all sorts of great stuff. You'll actually need to order a bigger cranium from Amazon. So check that out as well. Today is the 500th episode of the Chris Voss Show. It's the landmark 500th episode. And I don't know what that means. I just like saying 500, I guess, technically. It's like the Daytona 500. It's the Chris Voss Show 500. What does that mean? Nothing, actually, but I don't know. Anyway, I don't even know why there's a comparison there. Why is there a comparison there? I don't know. So welcome to the 500th show. I'm really tired. All right, so show's over. Thanks. Bye. 500 shows. Holy crap. 3,500 videos on YouTube. It's one of those marks that you hit and you just go, holy crap, how did I get here? And why can't I feel my legs? My good friend, Brian Basilico, who runs the Bacon Podcast. You can go to baconpodcast.com. He invited me to be on his 500th show, I think last year, 6 months ago. I gave him the lead joke for his 500 podcast, and he was kind enough to have me on. So I thought, what better honor? And he's such a funny guy, great friend to have on than Brian Basilico today. So we've invited him. Let's go through his bio. This guy is pretty amazing. He's featured in Inc. magazine. He's an award-winning, internationally recognized author and speaker, and he's the founder and president of B2B Interactive Marketing, an award-winning marketing consulting and production company in Aurora, Illinois. It was founded in 2001 and helps companies and nonprofits market their products and services through the effective use of online tools, including websites, blogs, emails, social networking, Google SEO, YouTube, and more. His career spans almost 40 years, and he also has a podcast and a book. He's an author. We're going to talk about that as well. We'll talk about his book and the book he's working on right now. And he's got a lot of stuff going on, including the Bacon Podcast, which you should listen to as well. He's almost at, I think, 580 episodes. Oh, he's at 580 episodes. There we go, June 22. And he's got some of the most brilliant and smartest people on it, including himself. Welcome to the show, Brian. How you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm awesome. Hey, I want to congratulate you on 500 episodes. I don't have an applause button, but I do have this one here. And it goes,
that was easy.
It was an easy button.
Exactly.
I don't know about you, but just saying 500 episodes makes me go, I'm going back to bed.
It's amazing, man. You know, you sit down and you think about it. It's like, have I really been doing 500 episodes? I mean, 5 years, you know, doing this stuff. I mean, I don't know about how long it took you to get to 500, but for me, it was 5 years.
It took us a long time, honestly. I guess I should talk about it. The podcast was set up in 2010, I believe, 2009, 2010, about the same time the Chris Voss Show was. I've been paying Blueberry for all that time.
Oh yeah, me too.
Todd Cochran. Do I get anything? No. But they're a great company and they have great service. They're wonderful people. But over the years, we did the podcast, and I really wish I would have committed to it. I had seen the success of the podcast of who's that guy who really kicked off podcasting, got fired off the radio, and really kicked off podcasting. Now he's a huge crazy Trumper. I forget his name, but
I don't know who you're talking about.
He's got a network of podcasts, but he kind of really laid the foundation and made podcasts huge. And we did a lot of podcasts, I think in 2013, 2014, trying to get the thing going. And then it kind of seemed like they died. Like, it's like they kind of seemed like they died out. It was just too hard for people to get the files over. The data really wasn't there and stuff. And then iTunes came out with, a podcast sort of icon, and they really started turning it back into something. And then one day I woke up and went, holy shit, these things are popular again. And we'd been kind of doing the podcast like off and on, but then we gave it the big commitment and stuff. So that was really cool. So the last 2 or 3 years, we've been hammering it pretty heavy, giving it the roll. But I wish I'd stayed with it 10 years ago. Like, I wish I'd really stuck it out.
Well, all that matters is you're doing it now,
That's true.
and now is kind of the time where things are kicking into gear. I mean, I don't know about you, but we have an Alexa in every single room. I mean, we do. It's like, the one in the bathroom is so you can, listen to something while you're taking a shower, or we actually use it as like thunderstorms at night. But I mean, every single one of them, you can listen to a podcast on iHeartRadio or, Stitcher or Spotify or something like that. So, there are more places for people to listen to them. And, it's all, here's the thing I always say about podcasting is, podcasting can be done in any activity. Video, you got to sit down in front of a screen. I do not suggest watching YouTube while driving, but, there are people that do. Usually their insurance goes up or, someone gets killed, which is sad. But the bottom line is you're walking your dogs, man, going to the gym, you're working out, you're looking svelte, dude. I mean, I can tell that you've been working out, man. Your arms are like guns. Look at that. It's amazing. But the thing is, and somebody else, one of the guys I interviewed on the show, Michael Neal, he always talks about getting in people's earballs. It's like you're literally getting inside of somebody's head because they have to stick earbuds in, so.
Are you saying that my ears have balls? Wait, is that what the lobe is? That's
yes.
That's not an earlobe, that's ear balls?
It's an ear ball, yeah, it hangs, it's kind of like, it's dangling, baby.
I've had my tongue in some women's ears, but that just ruins it for me right there.
Sorry, dude.
So let's plug your .coms. Give us all the .coms and stuff so people can Google them there on the interwebs.
Dude, well, the easiest way is just Google Brian Basilico. You find them all. But B2B-IM is my main company. That's one of my .coms. Baconpodcast.com. Baconcoach.com. That's where I have a bacon system.
Where you coach people on how to eat bacon?
That's exactly what I do, man. Basically how to buy the bacon so they can eat it. I don't teach them how to cook it. I mean, that's what, the cooking channel and the Food Network is for. No, I just teach them how to make bacon. Not physically, man. We do not harm pigs. That's the big thing. My wife is very anti-animal, anything, but she does like bacon. She does like chicken and beef and things like that. But no, there's a ton of them. Just Google Brian Basilico. You'll find them all, man.
Or Google the Bacon Podcast. I mean, it's a wonder Bacon hasn't sued you for trying to take over their brand of bacon, because you have the Bacon Podcast, you have a book out, and then you're working on a book. We'll talk about that in the show. What's the name of the book that you have? People can find on Amazon.
The book on Amazon, there's a couple of them. There is the Bacon System, which is sizzling hot recipes to grow your business. The original one is called "It's Not About You, It's About Bacon." Relationship marketing in the social media world. And I have one called Bacon Bits, which is online networking tips. And I've got a workbook. And then the new book that's coming out is actually a departure. It's called Toilet Paper Math.
That's right.
But it's based on the Bacon System. And it's really for more B2B online marketing as opposed to, the other ones were more for solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, small business. This is for the big boys.
So is the toilet paper marketing after you've eaten the bacon?
Yes, exactly. There's so much toilet paper and potty humor in that book. It's amazing. I mean, I just finished a chapter called The Poo Poo Platter. And the one before that was the 3 P's of thought leadership.
It's funny. I guess I moved it back in the other office. We just got done. We reviewed so many technical products, so many phones, so many things over the years. We just got done reviewing toilet paper. There was a company called Real Paper. You can see it on the Chris Voss Show for the links and stuff, but it's Real, REL, and it's like sustainable bamboo toilet paper. But I had seen the ads. They started really pushing their product because I guess they're ready before the pandemic, and everyone ran out of toilet paper. And I'm like, I guess we're going to start reviewing toilet paper now because that's the that's the most valuable product in the world.
There are so many questions in life that people have to ask. It's like, what's the meaning of life? But the other one that I find very interesting is toilet paper. Why do they have to advertise that?
That's true. Well, I mean, there's different, I don't want to say flavors, but there definitely is, like, I don't know, man. I years ago we reviewed what was it? We reviewed a bidet, and I always looked at bidets kind of funny, and then I fell in love with it. It was the greatest thing. It was the greatest life changer. One of the top 3 life changers of my world a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we digress. So you've got, about. Go ahead.
We don't digress, man, because we're talking.
Oh, that's right.
Crap.
It's your new book.
Yeah, we're talking crap. It's what it's all about. Being on the Chris Voss Show is all about talking crap.
Pretty much. I mean, it's a shit show. I mean, let's put it that way, right? Yeah.
One thing, I've used the term shit show more in the last 6 months than I think I have in my entire life.
Using it since 2015, 16 during the election. Honestly, I should just change the Apple podcast description from whatever the hell the Chris Voss Show says, and I should just say it's a giant fucking shit show.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Apple let me put that on the description. So you've got several books. You're working on another book. Mm-hmm. I love how you've used bacon. Like, when I was growing up, my father had all these old records from Earl Nightingale.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah. He's got these old record books from this sales thing in Texas. I think it's still around. I think it was called SML or something. Sales management or something.
Well, he ran Nightingale Kona, which was one of the first books on tape kind of things out there, and that was based in Chicago.
And these were like his old original records from radio. Mm-hmm. He would have W. Clement Stone on. It was crazy, but way before Nightingale Kona. But I used to subscribe to Nightingale Kona too. I think I still have some of the tapes. I kept them just for memories. Mm-hmm. But one of the lessons in there was selling the sizzle.
Oh yeah.
So I love how you just took bacon over, you just made it your brand. You're just like, everyone's gonna remember me.
And they do, and that's the best thing about it. But what most people don't know is bacon is an acronym. I grew up in the corporate world. As a matter of fact, it was just Father's Day, and I kind of recounted my father's life working in New York telephone. When he retired, he was teaching Army guys how to retire. How to leave the Army and actually become assimilated into culture again, because those guys have had, their food done for them, their clothes pressed, and never had to do anything, And, but one of the things that, my dad taught me was, self-respect. It was the coolest thing about it. But the bacon, he got me a job at AT&T. And at AT&T, everything was an acronym. You didn't go to the bathroom. You went to the LBR, LGR, little boys' room, little girls' room. I worked at the NSC, the Network Software Center. AT&T was an acronym for American Telephone and Telegraph. So BACON is an acronym for Building Authentic Connections Online Networking. That's what the BACON means.
So it stands for something. I learned something new today. I've known you all these years. I just learned something new. And I'm probably smarter because of it. Well, that's awesome, man. So you're acclaimed author, a speaker. Mm-hmm. You tour around the world. You're probably like me. You're probably just bunkered down right now.
Yeah, I'm bunkered down, man. I had a gig. I was supposed to speak up in Minneapolis in August. Of course, that got canceled. And it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as we're still alive, that's the most important thing. And you're approaching 600 episodes. Yep. So what's it like, man? Tell me what it's like when I grow up.
Well, it's an evolution. You start out as like, what the hell am I doing this for? Actually, the Bacon Podcast it didn't start out as the Bacon Podcast. I came up with this great idea called My Marketing Magnet, and the show bombed. Nobody listened to it. And I was in a mastermind. I was talking with a bunch of people, and they said, dude, Bacon. And as soon as I renamed it to the Bacon Podcast, it like blew up. And it did. It's like all of a sudden everybody's searching for it. They love the logo. And, the thing about doing a podcast, man, it's an evolution. Mm-hmm. It's like you start off one way, and then, it kind of evolves over time. And now, I just basically search out people that I want to sit down and have a coffee with, kind of like we're doing right now, and just pick their brains.
Mm-hmm.
And then let everybody come and listen in. That's all the show is about. It's like Seinfeld, except it's me sitting down with these really incredibly brilliant people and basically having a conversation about, dude, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it's just fun. We're living in a fishbowl right now. I mean, everything we're doing is on Zoom. There's no meetings in Illinois, even though we're at phase 4 right now. But the podcast gives you an opportunity to have this one-on-one human to human interaction that is just freaking cool. It gives you an opportunity to get to know people that would never, Bob Berg. I mean, Bob Berg wouldn't know me from Adam, but he comes on my show. You came on my show. That's how we got started.
You didn't know me from Adam. I didn't know me from Adam. I didn't know myself, according to my psychiatrist.
Yeah. Well, as long as your psychiatrist knows you, man, that's the one thing about The Sopranos. The show really isn't about, it has absolutely nothing to do with the mob. It's all about psychiatry.
That's why I had trouble watching that show. I knew people, I knew people in the mob back in the day were soldiers. And I was like, those guys would never be in a psychiatry center. In fact, one of the mobsters was, anyway, I digress. And I think it was I forget which mobster it was, but it really ruined his reputation. And I think they whacked him over it. Anyway, let's see. Shit you did in the 90s. That's our episode.
Exactly.
So and I wasn't in the mob, just for anybody who's really whatever. You just had friends. I had friends in the entertainment business, and they would bleed into it. So what else is there to know? The Bacon Podcast. You've got great guests that are on here. In fact, I need to go through your guest list and just start ripping your guest list. Let me ask you this. Because you have a brilliant guest list, and we're working on guesting up the show, trying to book more book authors and stuff like that. Do you have people that lose sight of who you are? Like, do you become the Bacon guy, or do people still remember your name?
No, they still remember my name.
Do they?
I mean, that's because we're having that one-on-one conversation. One of the things that I focus on is making sure that after we've conversed, that I have a relationship with those people afterwards. I mean, one of the things that I do, I said do, which is perfect for toilet paper math, is thank you. Is I send everybody who comes on the show a personalized bacon mug. And, I didn't. Wait. Yeah, I know. Well, you haven't come on a show recently. That was
this is a recent thing. I was gonna say, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, the 500 show, that was all best ups. Those are all people that have been on the show before. So I have to have you on again. I was just honored
to be on the front of it, have the front joke. I was glad that
you had the best joke of the entire thing.
I don't even remember what it was. I was going to use it for this bit so people could hear it and get a plug for your show, because I remember it being really funny.
Well, here's the thing. All they have to do is go to the Bacon Podcast, look up episode 500, listen to the first 10 seconds, and it's done. Yeah. Then they get you.
It was funny. We just did it was like really quick. We just banged
it was
out.
A riff.
Yeah.
You just riffed, and it was like, that's how I'm starting my show. It was perfect.
Yeah. Like one of the problems I have is people come up to me, and this is the reason there's no like official like sound audio intro to the Chris Voss Show. Although we're trying to figure out some different ways to do it. But one of the reasons I do my own intro is because people come up to me since we started this thing, and they go, thechrisvossshow.com. Like if the Chris Voss wasn't in the name of the show, like people wouldn't even know who the hell I was, right? They just
think you were some like FBI
thechrisvossshow.com, and I'm like, what the fuck? And you're like, you're the guy. And you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
they do that everywhere. They're just like,
well, you're famous, dude.
Not really. No. If you $4 or $5, I don't know, what is it? Starbucks now $10. Remember you used to buy a coffee for 25 cents out of the vending machine?
Oh,
had little gambling cards on it, and
I loved it. Yeah.
And then you bet with your friends, and you looked at the bottom to see what the pull card was. So you've been doing the Bacon Podcast for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And like what's the secret to a successful podcast? There's a lot of podcasters out there. Everybody seems to have a podcast. What's the secret to being a great podcaster, Brian?
Well, I think the secret to being a great podcaster is, number one, knowing who your audience is, and number two, learning how to interview people.
Hang on, let me write this down because I need 500 fucking mediocre shows. I probably should fucking learn something new.
Well, it's just being a conversationalist, man. It's coming up with topics that people give a damn about. Don't hurt yourself.
Oh shit. One of the beauties of the Chris Voss Show too is I remember trying to name it years and years ago. I mean, just not just the podcast, but the whole production of the Chris Voss Show. And I was like, what am I going to call this thing? And there's a lot of different names, and social media marketing was big back then. So everyone was taking up all the social media marketing names, and it just kind of occurred to me one day, just kind of light went on. And I'm like, I should just call it the Chris Voss Show. And I was resisting calling it that, and I was like, because if I want to change this thing, because I know how I am, I get bored. Like, that's one of the reasons I don't have tattoos, because I would go mad because I change so much and I do so many different adventures and things. And I would be like, whatever the tattoo was, like 2 years later, I'd be hating that thing on my body. I'd just be like, I really want something else, and I don't want that anymore. I mean, this is the reason I'm not married. I mean, I can't stick with anything. I mean, most of you people can stick with a woman for 30 years. I can't get past an hour. I maybe two. But I just can't deal with it for a long periods of time. So I was just like, well, we'll name the Chris Voss Show the thing, and I can change it to whatever I want. In fact, the Chris Voss Show is starting to turn kind of more, we kind of started to move away from tech a little bit recently and open it up to where every now and then we'll talk about politics, and then kind of more along the line of what you see going on with mainstream, talking about topical things like what you see with who's that guy who just got picked up by Spotify? The fear guy, Rogan. I don't know why I can never remember Joe Rogan's name. Maybe because I don't know, half the time he's just a moron.
But he's a well-paid moron.
Well-paid moron now. I mean, what do you see going on with podcasts right now? Like one of the challenges I've seen is I meet these people and they go, I have a podcast. And you're like, when you look it up on iTunes, you're like, there's 10 to 13 episodes. Seems like every podcast that I see that doesn't have a lot of episodes like yours and mine.
Yeah.
They have like 13 shows, and then they just kind of gave it up.
Todd Cochran talked about that on my show, man. He said the average podcast usually doesn't make it to 10 episodes. And that's because people don't have patience. They don't understand the concept. I mean, here's the bottom line is podcasting is a one-to-one relationship. You're talking to one person at a time, and what they're expecting is that it's like advertising. They're going to get out there. People are going to find them. They're going to get famous. They're going to make money. And, I can't specifically tell you a time. When I first started the podcast, I monetized it. And the way I monetized it is I did affiliate marketing. Everybody who came on my show had something to sell. And I would have affiliate link. And at a 500 podcast, I don't think I've sold a single thing from a podcast. Nothing. Zero. But that wasn't, then I finally figured out that wasn't the point. Now have I sold from doing a podcast? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because it gives you authority. It gives you a voice. It gives you thought leadership. I mean, you can't go on a podcast and regurgitate other people's crap. You got to have an original thought to do a podcast.
Really? I've been reading off cue cards of other people's thought that I scraped off the internet. It's pure plagiarism.
Plagiarism is the highest form of compliment, but dude.
There's actually some of the guys at Chris Voss Show. I just copied it. No, I'm just kidding.
But that's the point. You have to have some original stuff. And the bottom line is you do the podcast for yourself. I mean, that's why I do it,
Yeah. I probably do it for myself for therapy. It's probably therapeutic or something.
It is.
I don't know. I've got such a big mouth and shit needs to get said, and so I just fucking say it.
Well, I mean, you spend your entire life talking to two huskies. I mean, that's what you
Sure.
do.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the two dogs and the podcast, I mean, you'd have nobody to talk to.
What I really should do is I should put them on the podcast. You just gave me a brilliant idea. I should have a multicam podcast, and then I should
You
have the
should.
Huskies there, and I'll just pan to them every now and then. I'll be
Yeah,
like,
you should. Well, you need a video switcher so you can kind of cut away to
yeah,
them sleeping, because
do the
that's about
cutaway.
all they're either fighting with each other in the yard or sleeping. That's all they ever do.
Yeah, here we'll call it the pee poop cam.
Exactly.
Here's the dog tearing something up. Here's the dog sleeping. that would be kind of a funny bit. You ask the dog a question, or you're talking about something. You ask the dog for input, and then you turn to them and they're just sleeping. You're like, well, this is going well.
So there you go. You've got to have some technology left over in the house that could easily hook up to what you got to make that happen.
Yeah. The problem is just getting them to stay in one place at one time. And they're Siberians too, so they're rebels. So they're just like, yeah,
Well,
whatever you want, we're not doing. They're kind of like
put a
cats that
damn
way.
GoPro on them, then let them wander.
I actually have those GoPro mounts for them. It's kind of funny. I should try mounting them. In fact, we moved away from GoPro. We're now using the Osmo Pocket.
I've never heard of those.
Let's see. There's one right here. We actually for years loved GoPros, and we switched to the Osmo Pocket. It's got a built-in 3D axis gimbal on it, so we don't have to carry on big gimbal systems for the units. And it's got a little screen on the front. Here, let me hold this properly. It's got a little screen on the front, record.
Wow, nice.
You can mic it on the bottom, charge it. It's got a wireless plug where you can plug it in. I don't know why this turned into the Osmo Pocket plug show, but
hey, it's all good, dude. Well, yeah. I've never seen it, so now I knew.
Dude, you got to get one of these. Throw away your GoPro. Yeah. Records in 4K too. We used to carry on these big GoPro systems. We'd have the GoPro, and then we'd have like a whole giant, 5-pound freaking gimbal, and so we could balance it out and get a nice smooth video. And then of course audio hooked up to it. And it was just it was an apparatus of proportion. And my friend says, hey dude, have you seen this thing? And I'm like, what the hell is that? And he's like, oh yeah, this is better than GoPro. And I'm like, no, it's not. And got one of these, man. Sold my GoPros. In fact, GoPro were kind of dicks to us this year. They didn't send us the recent one. I think they're upset.
Yeah, well, they are now. They're done. Well, how much does that thing cost?
I think it's about $300, $250, $300. And then it's got some accessories. There's like a million accessories for it. There's like lenses. Turns out there's a magnet they put in there so you can attach some lenses if you want to go wide or fisheye and stuff. Cool. It's got a micro SD card on the side. There's actually like little, if you see these little digits here, there's crap you can slide into it. So I can slide this in, and this is a roller where I can pan up, down, left, and right during the thing. There's all sorts of other stuff you can put in here. It's crazy. Anyway, excuse me. So you got your books out. You want to talk more about the newest book you're working on?
Yeah, the newest book is called Toilet Paper Math. And so toilet paper in general, when it started out, was 4 by 4.5 inch squares. All right. And over the course of the years, they actually shrunk it down to 4.1 inch squares. Toilet paper right now is 4.1 inches by 3.7 inches. Okay. And what they've done is they put, now they got the double rolls and the triple rolls and all this other stuff. And they put it in a package and they put it up in the shelves. And now you buy these mega packs, right? And they got the math on the side that says, 9 equals 64 or, 30 equals 128, and you're sitting there going, dude, I know math, but that does not add up. And what they're doing is they're selling you less paper rolled up more for more money. It's like remember when you bought an 8-ounce tube of anything? Yeah. They're all 5.5 ounce tubes. So they've done the same thing with toilet paper. And in online marketing, it's the same thing. It's like when people are buying online marketing, they've got BSOS, man, bright, shiny object syndrome. I see people all the time saying, SEO is the way to go. You got to be on Instagram. You got to be on TikTok. You got to be here, and the reason is why, what are you getting from,
Yeah.
So the whole book is based around the fact that is what you got to do is really figure out what the heck you're getting for your money, and is it worth it? And, to you, do you want to buy the double ply super plush, or you want to buy the single ply, whatever, but the bottom line is like, all that matters is, does it do the job? And what is the job it's designed to do? Right.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great title and concept, because I've been at Costco, like looking at them all, and I'm just like, well, what the hell's going on? I know math too. And, I mean, I think one of the ways I used to cheat was I would look at Costco has a way of going per unit. And so you look at the little per unit on the Costco thing and figure it out. But you're right. It's like, it's almost become like, I don't know, some sort of game. Like, I hope all products don't start doing that, but maybe they do. Maybe I'm just not paying attention.
Yeah, but in internet marketing, man, it's the same thing. It's like, here's one of the things I tell my clients all the time is, you want 1 million followers? I can get you 1 million followers tomorrow. It costs you $500. It's really easy. Snap, it's done. And they go, yeah, it's great. Okay. The problem is all of them speak Farsi. They'll never buy from you, but I can get you 1 million followers. But that's what people sell is like, hey, get the followers, get the influencers. Did you see the Fire Festival expose on
I didn't watch the movie, but I saw experts of it, and of course know the story really well.
Yeah, I mean, basically the whole thing was a giant scam, and watching that, what really got me about the Fire Festival concept was the way they used influencers.
Mm-hmm.
They basically got influencers to influence other people to buy tickets, and they're selling these things for $25,000. And these kids are buying it up, and they show up and they end up in tents, and this guy got away with it. I mean,
he's in jail. Prison?
Well, he's going to prison, but for all practical purposes, I mean, he basically pulled Bernie Madoff shell game. And, towards the end of the movie, he's still living in a penthouse. Yeah, he's going to go to prison. But, I mean, the time he was living high on the hog, man.
Yeah, he's probably put some of that money in the Caymans.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In a trust or something to protect it.
But
that's just crazy, man. That's just crazy.
But that's what internet marketing's like. I mean, the game. You've been in the game forever, man. It's like, get rich quick. Everybody's talking about, get 1 million followers, get a big email list, do all these things. In reality, business, it boils down to, who are you talking to today?
Yeah.
Who's that relationship you're building? And that's what everything I've talked about is relationship marketing. All these books, all these concepts are built on that.
And you bring up a good point. One of the reasons I knew podcasts were taking off was because I was still getting reports from Blueberry, and I'd taken a few years off, and I was doing other things that were more profitable for me, and of course working on our YouTube videos and everything else we were doing. And I really thought podcasts had died, because it really did take a dip before iTunes picked it up. Yep. And I didn't, there wasn't people doing podcasts in huge amounts. It was just the same amount of people. But I started getting these reports on my email that people were like listening, and then the numbers started jumping, and I'm like, those podcasts are years old. What the hell is going on? And the numbers just started going up and up and up. And the same thing happened to me with the Chris Voss Show. For like a year of doing the Chris Voss Show, I was doing video back then. This is like 2009, 2010, when just video was really hard to deal with and upload and process, and people to even be able to use it on their phones. Back then, you paid the company, you paid AT&T more for phone calls than you did for data. And data was free. For a year, I mean, it didn't seem like there was no commenting, there was no interaction. And the only thing I had keeping me alive was Google Analytics, because I could see that people were clicking the links on Twitter and Facebook and everything and LinkedIn, and they were coming to see what I was doing, and they're reading the stuff. So for like a year, I felt like I was just broadcasting into space and like nothing was happening. But if it wasn't for those analytics, I didn't know anything was happening. And I've tried to help people start their podcasts and get it going, or start a YouTube channel and get it going. Recently, I helped a friend try and start a podcast, and I'm like, well, I'll help you out. We'll do the first one together, and I'll get you going. So we did the podcast and it was for YouTube, to try and get the YouTube channel started. And we did like one show, and I kept telling him, I'm like, you have to build this audience. You don't just, like, you do a podcast and like suddenly 5 million people are listening. Right. You have to build it before they'll come. What is that old movie? And Field of Angels.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. There you go. Angels in the outfield. And so you have to build
the centerfold.
There you go. That's the story of my childhood. But you have to build it, and it takes time. And here I put all those episodes together, and I kind of left it behind, and then all of a sudden, like, the numbers took off, and I was like, wait, what's going on over there? And like, it started growing like exponentially, and I'm like, people are listening to like podcasts from like 3 years ago, and I haven't done anything for 2 or 3 years. It was like 2 or 3 years I hadn't done anything. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, is there some freakish thing? And then I started looking into it, and like, podcasts are suddenly like taking off, and I'm like, I should go back to that. I wish I would have stuck with mine through the whole time.
Well, it's like anything else. It's Google juice, man. I mean, you can, if you have a good title, if you got something that people are researching and they type it in and they find it, the next thing you know, they start listening. And I mean, and again, I've tried a whole bunch of different things. I mean, I've tried a YouTube channel, not much happening there. YouTube is, it's like everything else. Have you ever read the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy?
No.
Okay. So basically the concept is that there's a red ocean and a blue ocean. The red ocean is where all the sharks are feeding. So as soon as something gets hot, everybody gravitates to it. All the sharks eat, and the reason the water's red because all the blood's coming up. That's why they call it the Blue Ocean Strategy. Go fish, go basically look where other people aren't, and go fill that need. And so, the concept of YouTube channels is, I mean, I know you've talked to like Brian G. Johnson and, some of the other YouTubers, they're huge into it, but, these guys are creating YouTube channels, and one day they're super, well known. The next thing you know, it's gone because YouTube changes the algorithm. You have no control over it.
Oh yeah. I mean, we used to make a really good living off of YouTube, and they changed the algorithm and stuff. I'm gonna have to check out this book, Blue Ocean Strategy.
Yeah, it's Blue Ocean Strategy. Yeah.
I think we're seeing that right now with TikTok, where TikTok is taking off. And we put some videos up there. I think one of them got like 40,000 views. They're all videos of my dogs. So,
Yeah, people love that stuff. But, I mean, TikTok is a bright, shiny object. It's the thing where everybody's going to all of a sudden, how to make money on TikTok. It's like, have you ever seen what it takes to put together an Instagram photo? I mean, it takes a lighting director, it takes a makeup artist, hair specialist. It's
Fortunately, it doesn't do that much for me. I mean, I just mostly put pictures of my dogs up.
Well, yeah, but your dogs don't need that. They're just naturally beautiful.
No one's buying this face. I mean, I've got moobs, but evidently they're the same kind of boobs that go. I honestly wish I was a chick sometimes when it comes to the internet, because I would just kill it, because all you got to do is just get on there and be semi-hot. Even nowadays, these girls, and I'm not knocking them, these girls, you can look like me, and they have these makeup tutorials when you're done, I'll look like a Victoria's Secret walkway model, like, and then I'm afraid to go to bars and pick up chicks now, because I don't know what I'm going to go home to. It's like, shit, holy crap, you're a dude. A
little Lola action.
I mean, seriously, you watch some of those videos where you're, Lola, just don't go to the tranny bar.
No. Well, you're not in Vegas anymore, man. That's a lot more prevalent there.
There you go. But no, I mean, yeah, it's kind of interesting. But the other thing too is it's so pervasive, TikTok in its thing. We were talking about this pre-show, because you came on the show, and I've been watching TikTok so much late at night. When I go to bed, I try to use TikTok as like a way to fall asleep.
Mhm.
Turns out it's the opposite. It's keep me awake for 2-3 hours when I go to sleep. Because you're just like, just flip to the next one. And then you're like, just one more. And then, and then I pretty much after a while learn like all the common things. Like I know all the top songs now. In fact, now I've been using the top songs. So now I know what they're called, which is even worse. But it was funny. You came on the show, and the first thing that when I saw your name, Brian, I went to the what would you call it on TikTok? The meme or the average thing. And I went, Brian, is this our vacation? Yeah. Brian, are we trash? Yeah, kind of. Like as soon as I saw your name, I just went, and I'm like, man, I need to check myself into rehab here.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to be doing the podcast on TikTok in 1.5 minute formats or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Us in small bites could be good.
There's a joke.
Speaking of sharks
I can't
feeding.
find it. I don't know if it's a Mary joke or a single joke. I just can't find the joke for that, but I know there's one out there somewhere.
Oh, there is.
Fill in the blank here. That's the name of the next podcast. Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
people come on. They're like, it's Chris Voss. It's the Fill in the blank show. I don't really have any material, so you fill it in.
Well, you could do a show.
I'll put road noise in the background.
You could do a show specifically for prisons called Fill in the Blank. I mean, if you wanted to.
No one does a prison podcast.
It could be a big hit, man.
Yeah, Death Row podcast. There's Death Row Records. Maybe that I could steal a little SEO off that Death Row.
Yeah.
The Death Row podcast. Are you on death row and wondering how the hell you got here and where you're going?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for the next week.
That's right. Let me give you some life lessons that will help you with your last few days.
How to improve your next final week.
Yeah.
Which electric chair is the best chair?
That's right. Yeah. We're going to review them.
Today we're reviewing model number X1.
The Model X3 has a really nice, comfortable seat. The wood back, it's a little cranky.
Have you on more often, Brian. You bring out the best of me. We're just checking out model number. What's the best needles for the gas chamber there? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the best gases today on the film.
That's right.
That's right. Podcast. What's the best way to not be raped in the kitchen, in the bathrooms at the prison? Anyway, enough prison jokes.
Yes, we're done with that. Let's move on.
Like people right now are just like, this really went dark.
No, you can still see it.
All right, so back to bacon.
Yes.
Bacon will drag us back and bring us
We're not talking about back bacon. We're talking about back to bacon.
So let me ask you this. Do you ever have vegans give you a hard time?
All the time. Yeah. I've had one guest in 5.5 years, almost 6 years, that she literally said to me, she says, I cannot come on your show. I am a vegan. I said, you realize bacon is an acronym? And she says, no, but just looking at it makes me sick. I cannot come on your show. And it's like, okay, it's your choice. You don't want to talk to a few thousand people? That's fine. Go ahead.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, no, I have. But here's the thing. When you really get down to brass tacks, okay? People are basically killing vegetables every single day. They cut them down, they put them in salads, and they eat them. Can we stop the madness? I mean, why do vegetables get murdered every single day for salads?
They are a living organism. I mean, really. I mean, they probably have feelings. We just don't really
They do.
know.
People talk to plants. Yeah. They grow better. Yeah,
that's true. You bring up a good point. Wow. I eat salads every day because I'm trying to stay healthy at my old age, and now you've put guilt on me like nothing else.
Well, I mean, I did grow up Catholic in New York. I mean, my mother was a travel agent for guilt trips, so yeah. I mean, I'm really good at it.
Guilt trip, holy crap! Wow. All right. Yeah, I guess what mother isn't really? I mean, isn't that? Isn't that the number one role of mothers? Bring you
It
into
is. Yeah.
bring you into this world and then give you enough mental challenges to spend the next 10 years in psychiatry therapy.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the mothers that give and give it away. What are some other high points of your 500 episode career of almost 600 now on the Bacon podcast?
Well, the high points are some of the people I get to interview. I mean, my favorite ones are the academics or the guys that work at colleges and stuff like that, and they talk about the psychology behind social media. And I just interviewed a guy, Jim Barry is his name, and he is a dude down in Florida who did an academic study of 170 influencers and what does it mean to be an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about things like empathy and having authority, original thought concept, being a thought leader, but authenticity, all the kind of things that really, we're authentic. I mean, what you see is what you get, so it's like, how do these people become thought leaders? How do they become influencers? When you sit and you start thinking about some of this stuff, it's kind of cool. It gets down to basic human psychology. And that's essentially what we're all in, the mind melding business. This is media. I mean, I had a guy just go on Facebook and just give me this rant. The media is blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, I understand what you're saying. Where do you get your information from? I've got thousands of sources. In other words, he's listening to media. He's trying to make his point that his media is correct and my media is wrong. And you get guys doing this all the time. It's like, you believe what you believe, right? We're in the convincing business. That's what we do. We convince people to think.
I try and convince people to think. I'm not sure it's working every time I turn on the television, but maybe they're not listening to the Chris Voss Show.
Yeah, well, hey, if they're buying stuff, I mean, you convinced me to get one of those little mini cams, get rid of my.
I just sold one of those. I need to send you an affiliate link so I can make money on it.
Yeah, send me the affiliate link, dude. Because just put it in the chat window, and then. But no, seriously, that's what an influencer does. You show new stuff, man.
Yeah, what have I plugged in the show so far? I've plugged real toilet paper. And I plugged the Osmo Pocket. No, it really is good. And what's funny about it is, for years, since I think 2013, we've gotten a GoPro every year from GoPro. Mm-hmm. And I think we screwed up this year because I didn't ask in time because I'm so used to No, we didn't screw it up this year. I did ask in time because I always try and take one to CES.
Right.
And I think they caught wind of my Osmo Pocket videos. And how much I loved them, and the fact that it sold my GoPro. For a thing. I hadn't said it was better. I just said, you know what?
Right.
This has replaced my GoPro. Mm-hmm. And I think they either caught wind of it. I know they were having production problems or something. They always seem to be having that lately. And so this is the first year we didn't get a GoPro, but I didn't even care because I'm just like, I really love the Osmo Pocket. It does, if you saw the rack that we used to do, if anyone's seen me in a show or something, I mean, half my gig bag was this giant 3D gimbal and mics and crap for the GoPro and a holder for it, and there was all these pieces and parts where I was holding different things. This thing is just amazing at how small it is. It's just it's crazy. The only challenge is you got to be really careful with it because it's kind of a one dropper. Although it's been dropped and banged and survived, I've been surprised. But if you drop this 3D axis gimbal just right, you're out of money. But they actually sell insurance for it. I think it was like $25. Mm-hmm. And it's really good insurance because they're really smart and they know that. And it's DJI. It's a company that makes the drones. And so they actually sell you for like $25 this insurance. That's like a no questions asked. Send it in. We'll replace it. They'll only do it once. But and I was like, hey, that's not that bad. $25 for insurance for this little baby. If it drops, good to go. But
it's not bad. I mean, you drop an iPhone, it's $100 to get the glass replaced. Everybody's done it. My wife was crying. I mean, she had it in her pocket and it fell out and hit the concrete, and it's like, oh, I broke my phone. Just give it to me. It's $100. I went and got the thing fixed. I brought it back. She's happy, But it's like, life happens with this stuff. But dude, think about it. I just put up a meme this weekend. and it was basically a phone, and it was surrounded by a calendar, answering machine, a camera, all these other things, and they're all standing around this phone going, "You're the asshole who stole our job." You know? Think about all of the condensation of all of the tools that we have. And the fact that these guys, and then now it totally makes sense, because the camera sitting on there looks like what's on a drone. They basically just took the drone off it, put it into a handheld and said, "Here," you know, and the quality of drone photography is amazing. So, and I'm sure
DJI
you
has
can,
done some wonderful things. I mean,
yeah.
they really have. I'm really impressed with them. We used to get drones for reviews back in the day when we had a guy and they had a really good influencer program, and then they just decided they didn't care anymore about influencers, or reviewers, I guess, for that matter. I mean, they kind of went the Apple route. They went to top tier influencers, and people didn't say anything negative about them. So tell us anything more about what's the future of Brian Basilico. What do you got going on? Let's get the final plugs in as we round up the show.
Yeah, the final plugs, man, is just, I'm working on a new book. If you want to find out about the books, go to notaboutyou.com. You'll find all the books. I'll be posting some preview stuff. I don't know when this is airing, but I should have at least a chapter or two up there soon. I'm going to continue to podcast. I'm going to continue to work. And, my market is, the companies I work with are bigger B2B companies, so they're still cranking, the medical industry. I mean, people still need medical food, transportation, those kind of things. That was one good thing I did a couple of years ago, was switch to that kind of company, because they've got the money, they've got the industry, so, but I mean, the biggest thing I would say is just listen to the podcast. There's so many great people on there. Out of 500 episodes, if you can't find 10 episodes that blow your mind, I'd be amazed.
And the Bacon Podcast is voted one of 35 outstanding podcast picks by Inc. magazine. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it's been voted by a bunch of different places as one of the top ones. And again, if you go to iTunes and you look at the top 200, popularity, I'm not in there. But the bottom line is when you find it and you listen to it, the people that listen to it get it. This isn't foo-foo crap. I'm not rah-rahing people into their, stuff. This is all about practical. When you're finished with a podcast in 10 or 20 minutes, you're going to walk away with an actionable tip. The last one I did was on what I call H2H and ROR, which is human-to-human interaction and return on relationship. So, the return on the relationship of getting to know you and chatting on Facebook every once in a while is you helped me with my dog when my dog was going through stuff, and, that's how all this stuff started. That's real relationship stuff. That's what life is about, is the relationships that you build. Nobody cares about, whether you have a GoPro or, a drone or shit when you die. What they care about is what, impact did you make on them?
That's true.
One way, shape, or form.
Wow. That's a life lesson right there. You just hit it out of the park at the end.
There you go. That was my money shot, baby.
There you go. That was the money shot. Dropping loads. So everyone check out baconpodcast.com. It's baconpodcast.com. I watch Howard Stern way too much.
I hear you, man.
That's where the dropping loads reference comes from. He used to do that as a bit. It was kind of funny. But take and watch his show. He's one of the top marketers to follow in 2018. Top 10 marketing automation audio podcasts in 2019. Look at all these awards you have on this website. This is pretty amazing. Go follow him. Brian is an amazing guy. I'm friends with him on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. He's really funny. He's just outrageous that they could follow every day. I think every day you put up a caption this.
Every morning I put up a inspirational quote of the day. Every night at 5:00 Central, there's a caption contest.
Yeah.
And tonight's going to be awesome. You'll love it.
and there's some interesting photos, the caption. It's the highlight of my day every time I see that post, because I just go, oh my freaking hell.
Well, the coolest thing about it is 100% crowdsourced. I don't find these fans.
Oh, do they send them to you now?
Yeah, fans of the forever, man, forever. The caption contest has always been about people sending me these images, and yeah. I mean, I basically have a folder on my desktop. I go, thank you. I take it, I put it in the folder, and they're just lined up. And I say, okay, I feel like doing this one today. The one yesterday, or I think it was Saturday or Sunday, was a guy on a bicycle with a casket behind it going by a Jimmy John's.
Oh yeah.
And that was in honor of Corona Fest. I mean, figuring that would be the way they do it in the South. I think.
Wouldn't that be better to have that going in front of a Chipotle?
Yeah, it probably would. But I mean, I was dealt a Jimmy John's, so I had to show the Jimmy John's.
You gotta go with the Jimmy John's there.
Yeah.
Because there you go. Well, and you also have a mastermind. Let's plug that mastermind real quick.
Yeah,
Does
it's
anybody
the
need
Bacon.
.com on that?
Yeah, Bacon Weekly Mastermind. You can find that on baconcoach.com. You're welcome to come in and try it out. You have to get interviewed by me first, though. Yeah, I just don't let anybody come in. Oh, yeah.
You have to interview to get in your mastermind?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
Because you have to be a good fit.
Is there a casting couch for this or what?
No, there's no casting couch in it, dude. The only casting couch in my house is the couch downstairs when my wife casts me out of bed. That's the That's the casting couch.
People wonder why I'm still single. Anyway, guys, and I should say Brian has a wonderful wife. She's an angel, and she makes great.
She's married to me. She put up with me for all these years, dude.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what wives do, I guess.
She literally saved my life this year too, man. So.
She really did. We were all worried about you, man. That was some scary stuff. Although when she started showing up with her pool boy though at the hospital and posting pictures of that, we were kind of wondering. But.
Yeah, his Nestor the pool boy.
Nestor the pool boy. Oh my god. That's just, that whole thing's hilarious. I used to use that joke with all my married friends, and I go, well, anytime they'd be out of town speaking or traveling, I'd be like, so does your wife have the pool boy over or you're gone? And they would always go, we don't have a pool, Chris. And I'm like, yeah, that's the problem. She has a pool boy and you don't have a pool. That's the first sign right there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we got to start a podcast called Nestor to the Pool Boy, man. I'm telling you, it'd be a huge hit.
I can't even believe, like, if I was gonna make up a story, like I don't even know what to do with that whole Nestor thing. Like I know what to do with it, but I don't know. But my best post was that one that I did of the Spear and Rhino girls, where I mocked it and I said, these are my kids. I've raised them. I'm so proud of my.
All right, time to go home.
All right, guys. Well, it's been wonderful to have Brian on, and you can see the fun that me and Brian have and the fun that he has on his show. So go check it out. Go check out his books and all that good stuff. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for being here. To my audience, please share the show. Refer to your friends, neighbors, relatives, dogs, cats, pool boys, mistresses. Get them in on the show. Just play it when you leave the house so the cockroaches have something to listen to. The dogs, cats, have something to listen to. It'll calm them or make them mad or crazy. Either way, I don't know. I don't even know what that means.
Just turn on all your Alexas at the same time. So every room you go to, you can actually hear, Chris and me billowing through your house. That's the point.
Chris and me billowing. That could be another podcast title there.
Yeah.
You and I should just do a podcast here in the future, a podcast episode in the future, where we just come up with stupid names for future podcasts, because there's so many podcasts. They've got to be running out of names for them and .coms, right?
Oh, they are.
So we should do like a whole hour on just stupid names for podcasts. That'd be a show, right?
We could do it.
We could.
Yeah, Nestor the Pool Boy is the first one.
We have to get really drunk before the show, though.
Yeah, but I don't drink anymore. Do you drink?
No. I had to move to edibles. I can't.
Yeah, so we don't. Yeah, so I just have to get some edibles, and I could do that. That'd be cool.
I don't know. The only problem with edibles is it'd be like, I just want to sleep.
I don't know, man. What do you think?
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate my audience for being here. Be sure to tune in often. That would be daily, no flipping. And we'll see you next time.